Shattered dreams. Maya Chen stood at the window of their penthouse, her hands cradling the gentle swell of her stomach. At 32, she had finally found the balance she'd always sought: recognition in her field as an up-and-coming architect, a husband she adored, and now, a baby girl due in just 3 months. "She's kicking again," Maya called, turning to find Daniel absorbed in his phone. Daniel Russo glanced up, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. "That's great, babe. Listen, Olivia needs me at the office. Some issues with the Singapore investors." "It's Sunday afternoon," Maya said, trying to keep disappointment from her voice. "We were supposed to finish the nursery." "I know, I'm sorry." He kissed her forehead, already halfway to the door. "The Hayes project is hanging by a thread. You understand." She did understand. Too well. The boutique investment firm Daniel had started with Olivia Winters had consumed more and more of him over the past year. What Maya couldn't understand was the growing distance between them, the whispered phone calls, the way Daniel's eyes avoided hers when discussing the future. Maya sighed and returned to arranging the collection of small wooden animals her father had carved for the baby. Wei Chen might be known to the world as the reclusive tech genius behind Horizon Systems, but to Maya, he was simply the father who expressed his love through creating things with his hands. Unlike her husband, who seemed to be slipping through her fingers like water. 3 hours later, Maya's phone buzzed with a message from Ling, her father's assistant. "Your father's worried. Call him." Maya smiled. Her father rarely reached out directly, preferring to observe from a distance, but his concern for her pregnancy had softened his usual reserve. She dialed his number. "Maya." Her father's voice carried its usual precision. "I received the financial reports on Russo Winters Investment Group." "Dad, we talked about this. I don't want you investigating my husband's business." "The Hayes project doesn't exist," Wei said quietly, "but their company is hemorrhaging money. Something's wrong." Maya felt her stomach tighten. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying, be careful. Trust, but verify." That evening, Maya heard Daniel's key in the lock just past midnight. She hadn't planned to wait up, but her father's warning echoed in her mind. Daniel stumbled slightly as he entered, the scent of expensive whiskey clinging to him. "How was the emergency meeting?" Maya asked from the dimly lit living room. Daniel jumped. "Jesus, Maya, why are you sitting in the dark?" "There is no Hayes project, is there?" Her voice was eerily calm. Daniel's expression hardened. "Your father. Always interfering. Answer me." "It's complicated." Daniel ran a hand through his dark hair. "Olivia and I had to create some alternative revenue streams after the Westlake deal collapsed." "Alternative revenue?" Maya stood, disbelief washing over her. "Are you laundering money?" "It's not like that. We're just moving things around until what?" Maya stepped closer. "Until after the baby comes? Until my father's connections aren't useful anymore?" "Your father," Daniel scoffed, "the great Wei Chen, who never thought I was good enough for his precious daughter." "Don't make this about him." Maya's voice rose. "This is about you lying to me for months while our future, our baby's future, hangs in the balance." Daniel's phone buzzed. Olivia's name flashed on the screen. When Maya reached for it, Daniel grabbed her wrist, harder than he ever had before. "You're hurting me," Maya whispered, shocked. "This is business, Maya. You wouldn't understand." "I understand betrayal perfectly." She pulled away, moving toward the stairs. "I'm going to my father's. I can't even look at you right now." Daniel lunged after her. "You're not taking my child to him." What happened next seemed to unfold in slow motion. His hand on her shoulder, her step backward miscalculated,
the sickening moment of imbalance at the top of the stairs. Maya felt herself falling, her body twisting instinctively to protect her belly, Daniel's face transforming from anger to horror. The impact came in waves: shoulder, hip, head. Then stillness, followed by a pain so profound that it transcended sound. Daniel's panicked voice echoed down the stairmill. "Maya! Oh God, Maya!" But it was too late. As darkness closed in around her, Maya felt something else, a warm wetness between her legs, and the terrible knowledge that some things, once broken, can never be repaired. A father's promise. The hospital room was silent, except for the steady beep of monitors and the occasional rustle of a nurse checking vitals. Wei Chen sat motionless beside his daughter's bed, his weathered hands folded in his lap. At 63, he had built an empire that revolutionized quantum computing, yet he felt utterly powerless now. "Mr. Chen," the doctor appeared at the doorway. "May I speak to you outside?" Wei rose without a word, casting one last glance at Maya's pale face before following the doctor into the hallway. "The surgery was successful. We've stopped the internal bleeding, but—" The doctor's voice lowered. "I'm sorry about the baby. There was nothing we could do." Wei's face remained impassive, a skill honed through decades of high-stakes negotiations. "And my daughter? Physically, she'll recover. The emotional trauma—" The doctor hesitated. "That's another matter." "Where is her husband?" Wei asked, though he already knew the answer. "Mr. Russo left to make some calls. He seemed quite distressed." Wei nodded once. "Thank you, doctor. I'll be staying with my daughter." When the doctor left, Wei pulled out his phone and made a single call. "Ling, cancel everything. Indefinitely." His voice was soft, but carried the weight of absolute authority. "And activate Protocol Nightshade."
Shattered dreams. Maya Chen stood at the window of their penthouse, her hands cradling the gentle swell of her stomach. At 32, she had finally found the balance she'd always sought: recognition in her field as an up-and-coming architect, a husband she adored, and now a baby girl due in just 3 months. "She's kicking again," Maya called, turning to find Daniel absorbed in his phone. Daniel Russo glanced up, his smile not quite reaching his eyes. "That's great, babe. Listen, Olivia needs me at the office. Some issues with the Singapore investors." "It's Sunday afternoon," Maya said, trying to keep disappointment from her voice. "We were supposed to finish the nursery." "I know. I'm sorry." He kissed her forehead, already halfway to the door. "The Hayes project is hanging by a thread. You understand." She did understand, too well. The boutique investment firm Daniel had started with Olivia Winters had consumed more and more of him over the past year. What Maya couldn't understand was the growing distance between them, the whispered phone calls, the way Daniel's eyes avoided hers when discussing the future. Maya sighed and returned to arranging the collection of small wooden animals her father had carved for the baby. Wei Chen might be known to the world as the reclusive tech genius behind Horizon Systems, but to Maya, he was simply the father who expressed his love through creating things with his hands. Unlike his husband, who seemed to be slipping through her fingers like water. 3 hours later, Maya's phone buzzed with a message from Ling, her father's assistant. "Your father's worried. Call him." Maya smiled. Her father rarely reached out directly, preferring to observe from a distance, but his concern for her pregnancy had softened his usual reserve. She dialed his number. "Maya," her father's voice carried its usual precision, "I received the financial reports on Russo Winters Investment Group." "Dad, we talked about this. I don't want you investigating my husband's business." "The Hayes project doesn't exist," Wei said quietly, "but their company is hemorrhaging money. Something's wrong. Maya felt her stomach tighten. What are you saying? I'm saying be careful. Trust, but verify. That evening, Maya heard Daniel's key in the lock just past midnight. She hadn't planned to wait up, but her father's warning echoed in her mind. Daniel stumbled slightly as he entered, the scent of expensive whiskey clinging to him. "How was the emergency meeting?" Maya asked from the dimly lit living room. Daniel jumped. "Jesus, Maya, why are you sitting in the dark?" "There is no Haze Project, is there?" Her voice was eerily calm. "Your father, always interfering. Answer me." "It's complicated." Daniel ran a hand through his dark hair. "Olivia and I had to create some alternative revenue streams after the Westlake deal collapsed." "Alternative revenue?" Maya stood, disbelief washing over her. "Are you laundering money?" "It's not like that. We're just moving things around until..." "Until what?" Maya stepped closer. "Until after..."
Unexpected connections. 6 months later, Maya found herself in a small gallery in the arts district, surrounded by photographs that seemed to capture emotion itself. Her father's assistant, Ling, had insisted she attend this opening, practically forcing her out of the house where she had been hibernating since the divorce was finalized. "These are remarkable," she said quietly, studying a black and white image of an elderly woman's hands intertwined with the child's. "Thank you," a voice replied from behind her. "Though I'm biased, I tend to agree." Maya turned to find a man with warm brown eyes and an easy smile watching her. His camera hung around his neck like an extension of himself. "You're the photographer," she realized. "Adrian Reyes?" "Guilty as charged." He extended his hand. "And you're the woman who's been studying my Resilience series for the past 40 minutes. Maya felt heat rise to her cheeks. "Was I that obvious?" "Only to someone watching you as closely as I was." His smile widened, revealing a slight dimple in his right cheek. "Would you like to know the stories behind them?" For the first time in months, Maya felt a flicker of genuine interest. "I would, actually." Adrian led her through the exhibition, explaining how each photograph captured a moment of human strength in the face of adversity, from Syrian refugees building a new life to cancer survivors celebrating remission. "You don't shy away from pain," Maya observed. Adrian considered this. "I believe pain deserves witness, but it's the light breaking through that I'm really after." Later, they sat at a small cafe across from the gallery, cups of tea steaming between them. Maya couldn't remember the last time she'd engaged in conversation that wasn't with her father or his staff. "So," Adrian leaned forward slightly, "are you going to tell me your name, or shall I just call you Contemplative Woman in Blue Dress?" Maya laughed, the sound surprising her. Maya Chen." If he recognized her surname, he showed no sign of it. "Well, Maya Chen, what brings you to a photography exhibition on a Thursday night?" "My father's assistant," Adrian admitted. "She's been trying to get me out of the house for months." "And why is that?" His question was gentle, free of judgment. Something about his directness, his undemanding presence, made Maya want to answer honestly. "I lost someone. Actually, I lost several someones, all at once." Adrian didn't offer platitudes or prying questions. Instead, he simply nodded. "Hence your connection to the Resilience series." "I'm not sure I've earned that title yet," Maya said softly. "Resilience isn't earned," Adrian replied. "It's revealed, one moment at a time." As their conversation continued, Maya found herself sharing more than she had intended: her background in architecture, her love of designing spaces that felt like sanctuary. She carefully avoided any mention of Daniel or the baby. "I'm actually working on a project you might find interesting," Adrian said as they prepared to leave, "documenting urban renewal through architecture. Maybe you could give me some insight." Maya hesitated. The idea of making plans, of stepping back into the world, still felt foreign. "Just coffee," Adrian added, seeming to sense reluctance. "No pressure." "Just coffee," Maya agreed, surprising herself. One coffee meeting turned into two, then into regular walks through the city where Adrian photographed while Maya explained the history and design principles behind various buildings. Something about his presence put her at ease.
His patience, his focus on the present moment, the way he listened as if her words were valuable. "You never ask about my family," Maya said one afternoon as they sat on a bench overlooking the harbor. Adrian lowered his camera. "Would you like me to? Most people do once they hear my last name. I figured you'd tell me if you wanted me to know." He shrugged. Everyone deserves their privacy. Maya studied him, this man who had somehow become important to her without her noticing. "My father is Wei Chen." Adrian's eyebrows rose slightly. "The Wei Chen? Horizon Systems?" "Yes." "Huh." Adrian returned to adjusting his lens. "That explains the quality of your coat." Maya laughed, a full, genuine sound that seemed to surprise them both. On impulse, she reached for his hand. His fingers were warm as they closed around hers, and for the first time since that terrible night, Maya felt something bloom inside her chest, fragile, tentative, but unmistakably alive. "Would you like to come to dinner?" she asked suddenly. "At my house. My father's house, I mean." Adrian's smile reached his eyes. "I'd like that very much." As they walked back towards the city, Maya didn't notice the black sedan parked across the street, or the man inside taking photographs of his own, photographs that would soon reach Daniel Russo with a message. "She's moving on. Are you?"
Reconciliation. Wei Chen's study was his sanctuary, a room of warm wood and cool glass where the most consequential decisions of his business empire were made. Maya stood at the doorway, watching her father work, reminded of how similar their profiles were, despite their different paths. "Come in, Maya," Wei said without looking up. "You've been standing there for 3 minutes." Maya entered, settling into the chair across from his desk. Protocol nightshade. Her father's hand stilled over his keyboard. His eyes, when they met hers, held no surprise, only quiet assessment. "Adrian found the connections," Maya continued. "He wasn't looking for them. He was researching building histories for his exhibition." Wei leaned back in his chair. "I see. Did you expect me never to find out, or did you think I wouldn't care?" "I expected you to heal," Wei answered simply. "Everything else was secondary. You systematically destroyed Daniel and Olivia, bankrupted them, made them unemployable." "Yes." "Why?" Wei's eyebrows rose slightly. "You know why." "I want you to hear you say it," Maya insisted. Wei stood and moved to the window, his back to her. For a moment, he looked older than his years. "They took my grandchild from this world," he said finally, his voice tight with controlled emotion. "They broke you in ways I couldn't fix. The courts would have called it an accident. Money would have changed hands. Lawyers would have negotiated, and nothing would have been restored." "So you became judge and executioner?" We turned to face her. "I became a father protecting his daughter the only way he knew how." "I never asked for revenge," Maya said softly. "No, you were too busy drowning in grief to ask for anything." We returned to his desk, pressing a button that brought up a holographic display of financial records. "This was never just about punishment, Maya. Look closer." Maya studied the documents floating before her. As she began to understand, her breath caught. "The Harrison Street development," she whispered. "You're turning it into affordable housing, with a community center and a memorial garden." "Named for your daughter," we confirmed, "though the public connection to our family will remain anonymous if you prefer." Maya sank back into her chair, overwhelmed. "All this time, I thought you were just destroying what they built." "Destruction is easy," we said dismissively. "Transformation is worthy." Silence fell between them, heavy with unspoken emotions. "Adrian is a good man," we said finally. "His work has integrity. His heart appears to be genuine." Maya looked up sharply. "Did you investigate him too?" "Of course I did." Wei's expression softened, but I stopped when I saw how he looked at you. Some things cannot be falsified. I think I love him, Maya admitted. I know. We folded his hands. The question is, what will you do about the truth he's discovered? I don't know, Maya said honestly. What you did exists in a gray area between justice and vengeance, between protection and control. As does most of life, we observed. Adrian deserves honesty. But remember, Maya, your future is yours to build. Not mine, not Daniel's, not even Adrian's. Yours. The next morning, Maya asked Adrian to meet her at the Memorial Garden site. Construction had just begun, the land cleared, but full of possibility. They walked among the stakes and markers that outlined the future paths and plantings. My father confirmed everything, Maya said, as they reached the center of what would become a circular reflection pool. Adrian nodded, his expression cautious. And how do you feel about it? Complicated, Maya admitted. What he did was technically legal, but ethically questionable. Yet the outcome, she gestured to the plans she carried, this place will help thousands of people. Children will have safe homes because of what rose from the ashes of Daniel's failure. The ends justifying the means? No, Maya shook her head firmly. The means matter, but so does intention. My father never sought power for its own sake, only resolution. Adrian took her hands, his eyes searching hers. And have you found yours, resolution? I'm finding it, Maya said softly. With help. They continued walking, discussing the garden, the future, the complex paths that had led them to each other. As they neared the site entrance, Maya spotted a familiar figure leaning against an expensive car. Daniel. He looked different, thinner, less polished, his once confident stance now uncertain. When he saw Maya, he straightened, then froze when he noticed Adrian beside her. I need to do this alone, Maya said quietly to Adrian. Adrian hesitated, then nodded. I'll be right over there. He stepped away, giving them privacy while remaining in sight. Maya approached her ex-husband, emotions swirling but no longer threatening to drown her. Daniel? Maya. His voice was rough. You look good. What are you doing here? Daniel gestured to the construction site. I heard rumors about what's happening with the Harrison project. I had to see for myself. And what do you think? Maya asked. I think your father is a formidable enemy, Daniel said with a bitter smile. He took everything. No, Maya corrected gently. We lost everything on that night on the stairs. What came after was just aftermath. Daniel's eyes filled with unexpected tears. I never meant to, God, Maya, I never wanted to hurt you or the baby. I was desperate and stupid and, his voice broke. I have no right to ask for forgiveness. You don't, Maya agreed. And I'm not offering it. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Daniel nodded, accepting this truth. I heard you're designing again. Yes. Good. He seemed to mean it. You were always brilliant at creating spaces where people felt safe. The irony wasn't lost on either of them. Maya glanced back at Adrian, drawing strength from his steady presence. I have to go, she said. Daniel called as she turned away. The garden. Is it for her? Maya paused. Yes. Thank you, he whispered. For that at least. Maya walked back to Adrian, feeling lighter somehow. Not healed, not completely, but as if the jagged edges of her grief had been smoothed just enough to let her breathe more easily. Okay? Adrian asked simply. Maya nodded, then leaned into him as his arm encircled her waist. Let's go home. 3 months later, the Horizon Children's Memorial Garden opened to the public. At the center of the reflection pool stood a sculpture of a mother's hands cradling a small, perfect pair of infant hands. Maya's design brought to life by a renowned artist.
Wei Chen attended the private dedication ceremony alongside Maya and Adrian. No press was allowed, no speeches given. Just a father, a daughter, and the man who had helped her heart remember how to hope. As sunset painted the water in shades of gold and rose, Adrian quietly photographed Maya standing beside her father, their hands clasped together, their gazes fixed on the sculpture that represented both loss and legacy. "Some wounds never fully heal," Adrian had written in the exhibition text that now accompanied his photographs of the garden. "But in the spaces between our broken places, new life finds a way to bloom." Maya read these words later that night, curled against Adrian's side in the small seaside house they had begun to share. His arm tightened around her as she closed the exhibition catalog. "Is it strange," she asked softly, "to find happiness again after thinking it was gone forever?" "No," Adrian replied, pressing a kiss to her temple. "It's the most natural thing in the world. We're designed to reach for light, even through the cracks in our foundations." Maya turned in his arms, looking into the eyes of the man who had taught her that love could return in a different form, quieter, perhaps, tempered by experience, but no less powerful. "I think I'm ready," she whispered. "For what?" "For what?" "To build something new," Maya said, guiding his hand to rest against her heart. "Something that honors the past without being defined by it." As Adrian gathered her closer, Maya felt the final pieces of her shattered world begin to realign, not into what had been before, but into something unexpected and precious. A future shaped by loss, but not limited by it. A love forged in the aftermath of pain, but reaching beyond it towards something enduring and true. In the quiet darkness, two souls who understood the cost of vengeance and the price of reconciliation found their own kind of justice, the justice that comes not from retribution, but from the courage to begin again.